Unfortunately, in our system of education, we study the subjects, but we don't live the subjects. Somebody asked me when I became a monk, after having studied so much of physics, how did you become a monk? I said, not in spite of it, but because of it. The world is just not what it appears to be.
How can we, based on physics, based on the idea of the unity of our consciousness, cultivate compassion?
We are teaching the next generation to compete and compete and compete. Compete, be at the top, elbow people out. Why do you beat anybody? You be you. I am unique. You are unique. A grass here is unique. A mosquito is unique. So just manifest your uniqueness. I was so curious to look at nature. When ants move, I was curious at looking at the kind of discipline which the ants have. Going in a straight line, if you put a small drop of water, then immediately they sense danger, turn back and communicate in whispers to the entire whole army turns back. I used to say, how does these little creatures get so much of intelligence?
Maharaj.
Yes.
Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be with you. I really appreciate it and really consider it a blessing upon a blessing.
I'm equally happy to be able to be with you and talk unselfishness.
Well, I really felt that, everything that you've shared with me, it feels like nectar. So I'm sure that there'll be so much wisdom and knowledge that I hope many people will benefit from in coming generations, not just now. But I would like to first start by asking you a little bit about your own personal journey, your youth, how you became associated with Swami, but just something from your early days.
I come from a very, very orthodox tradition of Advaita, owing allegiance to Shankara. And I was taught the Vedas, the chanting of the Vedas, when I was just a kid of 5 years old. I was sitting in the lap of my grandfather's father.
Your grandfather's father, where was this?
This was in Tamil Nadu.
In Tamil Nadu?
Tamil Nadu. My great-grandfather, he knew nothing but the Vedas.
Wow. Which village or town was this?
This was originally in Vellore, where the famous Christian Medical College exists. I was born there.
Okay.
I was born there. Later on, we moved to Chennai and so on. He told my mother, don't put this boy to English education. He has a beautiful voice, put him into Vedic education. So I came to the embodiment of Vedas, Sri Ramakrishna and Vivekananda. So the very sound of Sanskrit simply thrills me. I don't know, maybe we believe in the Purva Janma Samskara, previous birth.
Yeah.
When I listen to Sanskrit, I have such a passion for Sanskrit. And I was moved by physics, particularly the theoretical physics. Two great revolutionary discoveries, inventions. The theory of relativity, 1905 and 1915, the special and the general. 1900, the quantum theory. It completely revolutionized the human thinking on space, time, matter. So somebody asked me when I became a monk, after having studied so much of physics, how did you become a monk? I said, not in spite of it, but because of it. I have been trained to think of the world totally differently. The world is just not what it appears to be. Unfortunately, we study subjects for whatever reason, and we don't live subjects which we study. There was one great professor, Hans Bethe, who was a Nobel laureate in physics, who was responsible for discovering the source of solar energy. How does the sun get so much of energy continuously? He attributed a nuclear fusion. Two light nuclei, when they come together, larger nucleus, for example, hydrogen nuclei coming together forming helium nucleus. So that releases tremendous amount of energy. According to Einstein's famous equation, E equals mc square, that energy bursts out as light and heat from the sun. He came to Madras when I was studying my postgraduate MSc. Among the very technical lectures he gave, he was given a popular topic to talk to general audiences. The topic given to him was my life in physics. I even now remember his voice ringing in my ears when he began by saying, I have been asked to talk about my life in physics. I would rather modify the title and say my life is physics.
Wow.
That means, unfortunately, in our system of education, we study the subjects, but we don't live the subjects. If you live physics, then you will know, particularly after the quantum theory and the relativity, you will know the world is just not what it appears to be. It is completely different. It's a shadow world in which we are. What exactly is a particle, physics does not know. What is life? Life sciences do not know. We don't know which is life and which is non-life. There's the great discovery of Sir Jagadish Chandra Bose. What has life, what does not have life, how do you know?
Yeah.
Where is the line of demarcation between life and non-life, between matter and spirit? So quantum physics said, we don't know what's a particle, we simply say there's something, when there is something very peculiar, they call it by a Greek symbol. They call it psi. And it's a complex number. Life cannot be complex, it means the real part and the imaginary part together.
You know, I actually, in my limited study of physics, came across a book by Erwin Schrödinger. And it was called My View of the World. Short text, very powerful short text, where it's almost like a biographical text of his understanding of the world and nature. It was almost fully a text on the Upanishads.
Yeah. In fact, Schrödinger, Heisenberg, they were so much charmed with the Upanishads. And Schrödinger's greatest favorite was the Upodghata Bhashya of Shankaracharya on the Brahma Sutras. Heisenberg was full of Upanishads. Now, what I'm trying to say is, if you take it seriously, beyond study for examinations or as a study, but you live it, life is exactly not what it is. So I used to be very introvert. I rarely went out, but karma pushes me everywhere. I never used to go out, I used to be very quiet, always reflecting and reflecting. So much so, my mom used to scold me, what are you thinking about? Study now. I was so curious to look at nature. When ants move, I was curious to look at the kind of discipline which the ants have. Going in a straight line, if you put a small drop of water, then immediately they sense danger, turn back, and communicate in whispers to the whole army turns back. I used to say, how does these little creatures get so much of intelligence? If you go near a hole, huge amount of rice grains these little fellows have gathered for the rainy season. And the love for these creatures have for their offsprings. A mosquito, for example. I will tell you an experience which I actually had. I had come to the Ramakrishna Mission as a monk. You know, the place where I stay, the Belur Mutt, was full of mosquitoes. Now it's slightly better. When you use a mosquito curtain, the downside is if a mosquito enters, it can't escape.
Right.
So it keeps on drawing blood. So suddenly I got up and saw a mosquito had drunk so much blood, it could not even fly. Its stomach was full, I could see. I didn't kill it. I don't kill mosquitoes, ants, nothing. They have equal right to live as they have. They don't disturb us. Even if they do, it's far better than what troubled human beings give us. Anyway, I was just watching what this fellow is going to do. It slowly crawled across, and on the other side of the mosquito curtain, There's a very small mosquito, perhaps its offspring, grandson, who knows. And then he's putting out its neck, beak, and like a syringe drew all the blood from the bigger mosquito. And this stomach became empty.
So the mother was giving to the child.
And this fellow flew away. Then again it came to me. Whole night I couldn't sleep. I said, oh God, what intelligence you have given to this little creature. How much of compassion and love you have given it to be able to transmit its own children. If
The compassion of a mosquito.
If a human being has even 1/1,000,000th of what the mosquito or any creature has, life would have been a much better place.
Yeah. The Dalai Lama once said a funny thing. He said, of course I've spent my whole life trying to speak about love and compassion, which he has. And he said, though, but even the Dalai Lama, at night time when you're asleep and a mosquito comes and buzzes next to your ear, natural reaction is when it makes that funny noise in your ear and you go that. So we all need to cultivate that compassion. How can we, based on physics, based on the idea of the unity of our consciousness, cultivate compassion?
The idea of Charles Darwin, struggle for existence and survival of the fittest. That was his theory. When Swami Vivekananda visited the zoo, the zoological garden in Alipur in Calcutta with one of his disciples, there's an outstanding conversation which is recorded. He says this applies only to the lower animal kingdom.
He said what, sorry?
The survival of the fittest
Yeah.
and the struggle for existence idea of Darwin applies only to the lower kingdom, animal kingdom. As man evolves and becomes human being, this is just reversed. It is
Right.
not. It is not coercion. It is not competition, but it is cooperation. Living together, how we can come together and cooperate.
Who said that?
Swami Vivekananda said.
Oh, Swami Vivekananda
Charles
said
Darwin was right up to a point.
You're right. The evolved being
And
will
the
seek
evolved
cooperation.
being is just the opposite. You should
beautiful.
remember, don't go to animal level in which you compete, you kill, and struggle to survive by outbeating others. Unfortunately, I feel tears come to me when this is being taught to children. You compete. You should be at the top. Don't share your knowledge with any of your friends. I was a principal of this college here for 2 decades. I saw parents purchasing expensive books for their children,
Yeah.
and so many young boys end their lives in
I
frustration.
heard about that recently in India. There was these exams where many
yeah.
kids committed suicide for...
Now, that's because everybody, parents push them. One parent beat his child because he got 95%. Why now? What about the other 5? That boy died.
In England, if somebody gets 70%, it will be
No, what
a
I'm
great
saying
achievement.
is, we are teaching the next generation to compete and compete and
Yeah.
compete. Compete, be at the top, elbow people out. And there is a terrible science called the management science. Management people should not take offense, which teaches always, management people, that company and that company were competing. Somehow we should beat that company and come at the top. Why do you beat anybody? You be you. We always tell our students and children, a tree is so glorious, a mosquito is so beautiful, a spider, look at the architectural marvel that it creates. Even your great PhDs in architecture cannot create such a marvel.
Yeah.
God has given such intelligence to these people. Wonder at it, marvel at it. And these people say, you should somehow compete with the other man so that you can be at the top. A tree gives glory to God just by being a tree.
I love what you just
Being
said.
what God has made it to be, just being what you are. So be yourself.
Be yourself.
This
I'm
is,
actually writing a book called Be Yourself.
and that is another very important idea which runs through physics and science and philosophy and religion. Every being in the world is unique. I give a simple example. Everybody has 10 fingers. The fingerprint here, how many people are there in the world? The whole world population? What is the world population?
8 billion?
8 billion multiplied by 10, 800 billion fingerprints. Every one of them is unique.
80 billion, yeah.
So how God created such 80 billion fingerprints which are unique? So in His infinite plenitude, there's no dearth of creating new things. I am unique. You are unique. A grass here is unique. A mosquito is unique. So just manifest your uniqueness. This uniqueness is what we call the Atman, we call our own inner self, by whatever name call. And don't try to be like somebody. This is one education which has killed our inner self. When I was young, every family has some brilliant, one uncle and one grandfather, somebody was extraordinarily brilliant. See your uncle, you see your elder brother, how brilliant he is. I was told again and again. I used to be very depressed. I can't be like he is so brilliant, then why am I not like this? Then suddenly the thought came to me when I slowly matured, even at a very young age. Why should I be like him? Let him be like me. So I need not be like anybody.
Yeah.
I should be like myself.
Yeah, I said the trees are all different as well, the branches.
I have been created in a particular way. I have come into the world with a purpose. Otherwise I wouldn't have come here. The great Shakti, the great power which has ushered me into this world has a definite purpose for which I have come. Discover that purpose, explore, manifest, act. So when I went on, I didn't know. I never discovered. Discovery came automatically. There is a purpose for which I am here. If you fulfill that purpose, you are participating in the mission of God. God all requires all of us.
And how does one find that purpose?
God requires all of us. I discovered, not that we require God, God requires all of us. Otherwise, how will His mission go on? So He empowers everybody with a particular unique mission. Don't try to imitate. That's why the role models are projected, I feel very jittery. Even in our mission, I always get to discovers with my brother monks. Vivekananda is the role model for the youth. I said, don't project him as a role model. Nobody is anybody's role model. This is Vivekananda himself said. I searched for an ideal all my life till I found I am my own ideal. Nobody can be like anybody else. Let him be Vivekananda, let him be anybody. Why should he be? I am my own role model. I manifest my divinity, I manifest my perfection, I manifest all the great things which is within me in my own unique way, not like anybody else's way. That's why Ramakrishna said, relativity gave me this idea. Theory of relativity, it put very short, succinctly, you look at an object from various frames of reference, and the same object may look different in different frames. Are they different? No. There is a phenomenon called Fitzgerald contraction.
Okay.
A moving rod gets contracted along its own motion. A 6-foot rod will appear to be 3 feet in some frame, 10 feet in some other frame. Suppose you ask what is the actual length of the rod, there is nothing called actual. Everything is related to the frame in which you see. If you look at it from the point of religion, philosophy and life itself, you look at life in a particular frame. Everyone looks at life in its own frame. So that frame truth appears to be that. That's equally true as much as some other frame. So Einstein said there is no preferential frame in nature. Every frame is equally true. So what is the ultimate truth beyond this? You can't look at it except without a frame, and therefore what is absolute cannot be known unless you transcend all frames. That's why you call nirvana, that's why we call mukti and all. As long as you have the mind, through your mental perception you see that is as true as anything else.
Yeah.
And therefore you don't have to see anything. Then I always ask, You look at an animal, look at a dog or a cat. How does a dog look at you? Think about this.
Yeah, I often think about different animals and different people, how they see the world,
How they
what
see
their
the
view
world.
of it. In fact, today we were on the boat in the Sundarbans, and long in the distance, because everybody wants to see the tiger when you're there. So I said, my God, there's a tiger there. But actually, when we look close, it's just a dog walking there, and everybody's laughing. But my eyesight wasn't good to see that tiger in the distance, but other people who saw it, or the forest worker who was with us, he said, no, not tiger, there's a dog, jokingly. We all see what we think we see.
So the world is, we look at the world from our perspective.
Right.
Everybody has his own perspective. And then honor, revere, accept others' perspectives. You may not follow it.
Honor them.
Honor them, and they have equal right to exist. So the idea that you have to look at the world not from your selfish perspective, that everybody has a right to look at the world in its own perspective.
Yeah.
So come together, hundreds of thousands of flowers let them bloom. Nature celebrates variety.
Yeah, that's a expression of love, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
To honor their expression, honor their views.
Nature, infinite variety it sees and celebrates it, rejoices at it.
Yeah.
But there is a fundamental unity in all this,
It's like that Ekam Sat
which is
Vigraha.
Ekam Sat, and that's called truth, that's called beauty, that's called goodness. This is what the Socratic idea, truth, beauty and goodness. We call it Satyam, Sundaram, Shivam.
And could you describe what that means for people that don't know?
So the Satyam, which is the truth behind the whole thing, there is some imperishable, unchanging substance over which changes take place. People ask me, you talk about God and God, can you prove it? Yes, very easily. I said, let us take a simple example. There is a way of proof of a theorem in mathematics in school mathematics we studied. Suppose given a theorem, prove this. The method is called reductio ad absurdum, reducing to an absurdity, that is the Latin word. Assume that the opposite is true. The theorem is wrong. The theorem here is, there is nothing unchanging in this world, everything is changeful. The unchanging substance, changeless one, imperishable substance, God, etc., has no meaning. Everything is changing. This is the theorem. There is nothing unchanging. Now suppose you take it to be true, what are the consequences? Everything is changing.
Right.
Your body is changing, your mind is changing, your views are changing every moment as you grow.
Correct.
Now suppose you go back home and see your home is no longer there, it has changed some other place. And then look at your person which you have with whom you are friendly for so many years, you suddenly say has changed. Everything is changing. What is that based on which you will live your life? You need an anchor to live.
Yeah.
So what are the consequences of a person who sees only change? There is nothing which is, everything is changing. Your house is not there, you said, oh, this house moved somewhere else. What are the consequences of a person who sees only change, there is nothing changeful? He will have nothing to fall back upon as an anchor. Then what are the consequences of that? Either he goes mad or commits suicide. This is exactly what the existentialists, the Kierkegaard and Nietzsche, etc., they said, everything is that, everything is meaningless.
You know, I think that what you touched upon, for people who don't have that foundation in their life, they suffer.
Yeah, terribly.
They-
And it's called angst in existentialism. They say that is the only fundamental thing. There is nothing which is real, nothing which is, everything is continuously changing. And then Kierkegaard and others said, then what do you do? So, there is nothing on which you can hold on. So, what are the consequences of that? Life becomes meaningless. A human person is a meaning-seeking creature.
Yeah.
You always seek meaning. There is a school of psychology called logotherapy. Viktor Frankl found out in the concentration camp of Hitler.
Man's search for meaning.
Yeah. The concentration camp, so many people, he asked them, You are such a terrible distress. Every moment you are panicking. Any moment you can be simply shot and buried. Still, do you want to live? Yes, sir, we want to live. Why? Anchored on what? I find some meaning in life. Search for meaning is the fundamental thing which distinguishes an animal from a man. We don't know. We should not comment. What the animal feels, you don't know.
So we at Godharmic, we kind of understand this from relating dharma, purpose, meaning, all coming
You
together.
will find a purpose in serving people. That's the purpose.
Yeah.
Some people feel. Now our ancient asked, what is the purpose of life? It goes to saying, what is the meaning of life? What will satisfy you? What are the aspirations of humankind? I always say from the background of physics, first of all, you should know what are the classifications possible. When 92 elements came to be discovered, too many elements, now we have to classify them. Put them in some categories. Then came the famous periodic table of elements. Loser-Meyer and Mendeleev in periods and groups. So one wants to classify. So many books, a few million books, classify them. This is history, this is philosophy. In that, this is this. So classification is a fundamental characteristic of human progress of knowledge. In our brain, we classify. In a computer, you have folders. A folder for this, a folder for that.
Right.
So classification principle, from that comes the generalization principle. But particular to the general to the more general, and the most general are the universal. Vivekananda spoke about this. When Newton saw an apple fall, he didn't take it as an isolated incident. He asked the question, an apple falls, a mango falls, a stone falls. That means there is a phenomenon called falling. What is the meaning of that? He referred this to a larger, and then to general, more general, ultimately found the most general theory of gravitation. So human mind always generalizes. And when particles came to be discovered, so many particles, they said, no, we should have a classification, we should generalize. Can we say that all these particles are just manifestations of one single particle with some parameters varying? See, human mind always wants to classify, generalize, and then unify, unification. Proton and neutron were in the nucleus. Then the scientists thought there were two particles in the nucleus, almost same mass, slightly different. One is positive, the other is neutral. Why should they say there are two particles there? Say there is only one particle called nucleon, which can exist in a positive charge mode,
right,
or neutral charge mode. Call them modes of the same particle. I am a conscious being. I am the waking state, and I dream, and I go to deep sleep. The I which says I am here and talking to you, when I dream and see this happening in my dream, that I is completely different from this I. But I get up and say, I dreamt this. Who is the I which is watching over all these eyes? That means you call them as one I, which is in a waking mode, dream mode, sleeping mode, I1, I2, I3. So human mind always said, can you say there's only one particle which exists in two modes? Mathematically, how they express this, it can kind of spin, not the ordinary kind of spin. It is charge spin. In that spin, the spin is plus half, it is neutron, minus half, it is. They mathematically developed it. Similarly, this is called SU2 symmetry. Then can you go for more particles, SU3, SU4, SUN symmetry. Any number of particles, you can consider one. This was the question which rishis asked thousands of years ago. Kasminnu bhagavo vijñāte sarvam idam vijñātam bhavati. Sir, is there one from which, knowing which I can know everything. Now physics is now searching.
Which text was that asked?
Mundaka Upanishad.
Mundaka.
And now people are asking, physicists are asking, unsuccessfully though, Hawking's theory of everything, TOE. Is there one theory from which everything can be derived? And the unified field theory, the holy grail which was Einstein was chasing till the end of his life. So everything can be unified in a particular theory. 4 forces of nature existed: electromagnetic force, weak force, strong force, gravitational force. Can you say there is only one force of which these forces are manifestations? They have unified 2 or 3 of them they have successfully done. But gravitation is still escaping us. Quantum gravity now they are trying. So why human mind is uncomfortable with many? Always wants the one from which the many emerges. I always give the example to my students. Why do scientists want unification? Because the human mind says there should be only one. Somehow it has become many. Which is true? The many are the one. Buddha said the many, everything you say the many. Vedanta says there is only one from which the many emerges. So celebrate the many, don't decry them, knowing that all of them coming from the same.
That's the truth. That's the ultimate work, is to
like the 80 billion fingerprints.
Yeah.
Each one of them is equally true.
Love all of them.
So all of them, let them go, let them exist. They have freedom, full freedom to exist. So this idea of unification, generalization, classification, from which you look at the world totally differently. We have no problem with anybody. So what is that? One, by knowing which everything can be known. Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad gives the example. You have so many varieties of forms made by clay. A clay cup, or then the Durga image, a Ganesha image, or a Lakshmi image, etc. in Durga Puja. And you put it in water, it's only clay. So what makes the difference? Nama and Rupa. The name and the form. If you take away the name and form, it's only one.
All one.
So they said, Sat, Chit, Ananda, Nama, Rupa, the entire thing is explained. Satchidananda, first 3 refers to Brahman, and last 2 refers to the world. The world is only Nama Rupa Atmakam Jagat. They come to a simple conclusion.
There's a beautiful verse also in the Chandogya, which I've always loved, where it says, all of the beings, living, non-living, the moon, the stars, the planets, the entire earth, all is hidden within the cave of your heart.
Yeah. Nihitam Guhayam.
Yeah.
That's because of macrocosm. Vivekananda, you are referring to that in your talk, that he saw under the people tree. He says, my greatest problem was saw the macrocosm unity in Almora. He added there, I saw the entire universe in an atom.
Yeah.
So the whole of macrocosm is in you. So you are the world and the world is you, in a sense. So when I am everybody, hurting somebody is hurting me. Why should I be ethical? Why should I be moral? Why should I be loving to others? Because the other man is only you. This is the great teaching in the Pratītyasamutpāda Upanishad. Atmanastu kāmāya sarvam priyam bhavati nava are kāmāya pati priyo bhavati atmanastu kāmāya pati priyo bhavati nava are sarvasya kāmāya sarvam priyam bhavati atmanastu kāmāya sarvam priyam bhavati. Everything appears to be so beautiful, so loving, because they are your own self.
That's wonderful. And
so by hurting the other man, you are hurting yourself.
I think you've touched on Brihadaranyaka, you've touched on Chandogya Upanishad, you've touched on Mandukya Upanishad and Mundaka Upanishad as well. And one of my favorite Upanishads is the Kena Upanishad.
Kena Upanishad. That's extraordinary.
The mystery is that which is beyond.
I always tell people, Upanishads are not metaphysics, they are not philosophy, they are not inquiry, nothing. Simple questions they asked about what we see daily experience. And the answers are the profound answers called the Upanishads. Upanishad rishis just did that. When I am sitting here, what is happening? Kim karanam brahma kutasmajata ke nama jiva kvaja sampratishta Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Brahmavadino vadanti. They are discussing among themselves. Where have we come from? What is the basis of all this? What is the cause of all this? See, you can't wish away these questions. When my friends say, oh, don't worry, you have to worry about it. Because I am here as a human being. Where am I? What am I? Where am I going to go? Ultimately, there is death which is going to snatch away everything from you. Where am I going? Where did I come from? And the Kena Upanishad simply says, when I open my eyes, how do I see? Is it a question to be asked?
Kene shitam patati.
No, is it a question to be asked? But they are asking. Kene shitam patati preshtam nanaha kena prana prathama priti yuktaha kene shitam vacham yamam vadanti chakshusrotram kaudevo yunakti. How do I listen? How do I hear? How do I think? What is the power behind this? They understood it is not with eye. Then the answer is very funny. You can't explain this. There is an eye behind the eye, there is an ear behind the ear, there is a mind behind. Shrotrasya srotram manaso manoyat vachoha vacham sabha pranasya pranaha chakshusas chakshurati muchadhira pretyasman loka davrta bhavanti. So simple language they put it.
Yeah, so beautiful.
It can't be by the eyes you see, there is something behind
the eye of the eye, the ear of the ear.
This is the only way in which you can put it. So they are probing into our daily life.
I love that word it uses a few verses later. Pratibodha
viditam matam. That's a very interesting idea. Don't cut out this world. Don't cut out sense experiences. Through every sense experience, the infinite self is peeping in.
Through the wisdom that we normally understand.
Now, when I see this table, I am seeing it in and through the self within. Otherwise, I wouldn't see it. I say, I see it. Who is the I which sees it? See, every experience actually is an experience of that Atman or Brahman within you, in and through which you see everything. Bhagavan Shankara says in the Bharshi, in the commentary, that Atmana virirmuktam asat sampadhyate. If Atman is taken away, everything becomes asat. So every experience is actually an experience of the Atman in and through the perception. So don't cut out the perception is unreal. Maya, the perception is equally real. Yena rupam rasam gandham shabdam sparshascha maithunan etena vajanati kimatra parasishyase etad vedit Kathopanishad. That by which you are able to experience shabda, sparsha, you are able to hear, you are able to see, even the maithuna sukha, even the sensual experience, sensual pleasure that you have, that is also in and through the Atman. Because you experience, who is you? So, every experience actually is the Atman or Brahman peeping in.
Yeah.
So, Shankara's Bhashya says, Pratibodha viditam, bodham prati viditam.
Wow, I didn't know that. So,
Shankara's Bhashya.
Bodham
prati viditam. Through every bodha, through every sensory perception, Atman is seen.
That's beautiful.
Bodham prati viditam. Sarva pratyaya sakshi says every thought is a sakshi behind.
In which
this.
commentary, which text he said
Shankara, the Kena Upanishad.
Kena commentary.
Kena Upanishad commentary by Shankara. Shankara has written 2 commentaries on that. It's so important. I teach all this even to the public.
Yeah.
Public people who have no understanding. I said, you read this. I'll make it teach you very simply. I do plenty of online classes also.
Lovely.
People are so much interested.
So, in terms of myself, our work in Go Dharmic, we've just recently signed this, or just today, an MOU with the Ramakrishna Mission and the education arm here, and having you as an ambassador for our work also, which we'd love to have. What advice do you give to me directly? What can I do to serve better, to work better in my life, in my world? What message would you?
Keep yourself away and allow God's power to flow through you. God's power, if you don't like the word God, you call it nature, you call it by any name. Simplest example I give, when you're sleeping, no awareness of anything, who is taking care of pumping of the heart? Who is taking care of our lungs? Who is taking care of our digestion? Even now when you are talking, are you worried where the heart is pumping and the breath is going on? No. The power of nature is working through you. The scientists say this. Nature is working through everybody mysteriously. I always tell the students, meditate on the human body. Don't worry about Atman or Brahman or God. What a mechanism God has made this.
Yeah.
Take anything, alimentary system, a reproductive system, whether it's a digestive system, how the whole thing, and it's coordinating so well. And I always say, the tongue is one of the softest in the body. The teeth are one of the harshest. How beautifully they cooperate to eat and to make. I'm talking to you, my tongue is moving constantly,
Yeah.
but they are very happily cooperating.
True. Actually, another example of this same analogy, Tulsidas writes in Ramcharitmanas, Vibhishan feels like the tongue with all of these demons all around him, but still he's surviving, chanting the name of Ram and doing his bhakti.
So, there is no contradiction in nature. Contradiction is in our own mind. There is no virodha. I give another simple example. The tree standing there is my oxygen cylinder. It gives me oxygen so that I can survive. And what does the tree do? It takes away my carbon dioxide so the heat, it can survive. So how beautifully nature is arranged. Carbon dioxide and oxygen are contradictory natures. But tree independently and human beings independently, they are exhaling and inhaling air which is contradictory in nature. But tree plus human being together as a system, there is no contradiction. So enlarge this. It's called systems approach to life. Management people study this. Systems approach says, look, enlarge the system. In the whole system, there is no contradiction.
Yeah. Now, I'd like to kind of ask you, as we're coming towards the end of our conversation, what goals do you have for the rest of your life? Is there anything that you really want to work towards and achieve, or is there?
See, my thing is, I rarely discuss it because I have no goal, no achievement.
No goal.
See, goal is projected from the present into the future.
Okay.
And what is true is the present.
The present moment.
This is the present moment is true. You don't know what's the next moment. So don't project anything from the present to the future. When you do it, obviously it will be conditioned by the present. So unconditionally, if you move from moment to moment, this Buddha's idea of Pratītyasamutpāda is a famous theory. So you keep moving from the present. Things will unfold as you move. I've experienced it every moment now.
Fully with love.
A project which I'm doing. People say, hey, you're not anxious. It will happen. If it happens, it will happen.
Yeah.
So why are you anxious about it? When you get into a car.
Be here now, as Ram Dass said.
Yeah. When you get into a car, people say, when will we reach? I said, very simple answer. You placed in, I know the answer, yes.
When we reach.
We reach when we reach.
When we reach, we will reach when we reach.
That is the Zen Buddhistic idea that every moment you live, there is a story is told in Buddhism. Usually they teach through tea parties. The Zen master is teaching 4 students. He told them, take a cup and wash it, we'll celebrate with tea. Each one of them washing the cup. Goes to the first student, why are you washing the cup? Sir, you asked me to wash it? Oh, good. Why are you washing the cup? Second student, sir, it was dirty. Good. Third person, why are you washing the cup? To take tea, obviously. Why are you washing the 4th student? Sir, I'm washing the cup because I'm washing the cup. I'm just this moment. For something if you do, once again you're projecting something into the future which doesn't exist at this moment.
Yeah.
If you project a goal, this is my problem with all the management people. Target-oriented, goal-oriented, dream a dream, all that is good. But this moment, what you are if you concentrate.
Living and breathing.
This is called Karma Yoga.
Yeah.
Karma Yoga says, don't project anything into the future. Karmanye vadhikarase ma phaleshu. Phala is projection into the future. I do it today, tomorrow I'll get the phala.
And I found that the best work that I've been a part of, or anything that I feel has been truly blissful, is when I haven't actually done it. It just happened.
It happens.
It almost feels like I didn't want that to happen.
You empty yourself, God's power will flow, don't worry.
Allow God to flow through.
Who digests my food? The same power digests my food, same power makes me talk. Look at the complicated process of talking. So many ideas in my brain, the nerves that they convey to my mind, and then the tongue is twisting inside the mouth in a peculiar way. Some words come out, the words strike your tympanum, your eardrum, and then carry to the brain. Such a complicated process, but we are doing it because naturally it happens. Nature does everything.
Yeah.
If you don't believe in God, it's okay. Nature does everything. Allow nature to function. Become an open conduit.
Become a conduit for nature to flow through you.
What stops it? Ego. I did it.
I did it.
This is what Gita says. Ma phaleshu. So, and then the students are confused. Rightly so. I want to pass the examination creditably. You say just without expecting any result, you only write the exam. What does it mean? I am playing a game. I want to definitely win this match. With that passion, I will fight. Why do you say that? Just play. I told them, you know how many times Sachin Tendulkar got out between 90 and 100?
I have no idea.
I checked up a huge number of times in both the formats. You can check in the internet.
How many?
I think it's quite a large number. Can you check in how many times Sachin Tendulkar got out?
Can we check that?
Between 90 and 100. Ask the Google.
Any cricketers in the room? No. How many times did Sachin get
Google
out?
will give you immediately. I give the example and say,
Okay.
a batting genius. He has reached 95, 98.
And he gets out.
From 0 he came to 95. Just 5 runs. What? Huh? 18 times in which format? One day. And a test match? 10 times. 28 times he missed. Can you imagine that? So 18 times in the one day format and 8 times. No, 10 and 18.
Yeah, 28.
18 and 10. So 28 more centuries he could have got. Why? I asked the students why. Till he reached 90, he was playing the game. After that, he was playing for a century.
Ah, that's
He
interesting.
projected century in the future.
Yeah.
Century. Simply,
Mentally, it affected his
you
game.
play the ball, that's all. Karma Yoga simply means when you play, concentrate on the ball, not on the scoreboard. Don't look at the scoreboard when you are playing. This is called Karma Yoga.
I think a lot of, also just using sport as an analogy, in the first run is almost the most difficult. You know, so getting the nerves past them in that first one, because your mind is thinking about getting there rather than following that process and just, you know, getting past. You can breathe. You get past that thing. I want to finish our discussion with something that I feel very passionate about. I feel that not enough people know about this great line that is Swami Vivekananda. And you've dedicated your life to his mission, his work, which is all of our mission, which is humanity's mission. At least in the West, he had such a wave of impact. And I feel today he's not spoken about enough of. He's not understood.
Our centers also should be more aggressive.
I want him to be read in. But when I find a book I go to bookshelves and I look everywhere. Where are the books on Sanatana Dharma in the bookshelves in the West? I don't see Swami Vivekananda's books on the shelves. They should be there. So even if I find a Gita, I often get the Gita and turn it forward. So somebody walking past might feel curious and think, let me read this. But tell me about Swami Vivekananda and why people should understand, study, read.
Swami Vivekananda also said, he himself said, I quote this, I want Hinduism to be more aggressive. The tag of mild Hindu, passive Hindu should go. Hindus have been too mild for too long. In fact, once he said, Hinduism, I want to be militant.
Wow.
Because if you're too passive and soft, people will walk over you. Life is terrible. And if you passionately feel about it, of course you will take strongly. When I go out and then talk to people, not that everybody is happy about this, I very strongly believe. You come out with an argument, scientifically, let me face you. Swami Vivekananda, the person who was scientific, rational, and said, even if you don't believe in a God, it's okay. Do you believe in goodness? Unselfishness is God. That's what he said. Let your whole life be dedicated to unselfishness. Your little self is so petty, so small. Why do you chase this little self? Infinite is your nature. That's why he rooted everything in Vedanta and the Upanishads. Upanishads say, you are that infinite self. An interesting story he tells. A mosquito was sitting in a horn of a bull, biting it. After a long time, its conscience affected him. He said, Mr. Bull, I'm so sorry. I will go away. I'm tormenting you too long. So, you are here, I never knew it. Come and settle down on my horn with all your family and bite me. What can you do to me? This I tell my students, but nobody can do anything to you. You are that infinite self.
You are the Atman. Yeah.
You are the Atman. Believe this.
That's beautiful.
That's why Swamiji said the Atman, not only for spiritual emancipation and mukti, for everyday life. He said, a fisherman, if he thinks he is Atman, he will be a better fisherman. A lawyer, if he thinks he is Atman, he will be a better lawyer. If a student thinks he is Atman, he will be a better student. The doctrine of the Atman, the theory of the Atman, and the realization of the Atman is not confined only to sages and saints and the rishis and munis in the forests and caves. He said, the Vedanta which is hidden in the forest, I will bring them and throw them in the marketplace.
The Vedanta that is hidden in the forest, I will throw them into the marketplace.
And he said, the greatest teaching was Vedanta was done not in forests, not in the caves, but on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Arjuna was collapsing.
Yeah.
The war is just about to begin. Then Sri Krishna gives the highest wisdom of the Atman. And kings, Janaka's court is being debated. So don't think Vedanta is something only for that. Unfortunately, he lamented, it has become too monastic, too sannyasa oriented, too abandoning the world. So he wanted to revive the idea of the Atman rather than the idea of Maya and the world, etc. Infinite power is there within you, manifest it in your own way.
Yeah.
You
So beautiful.
Don't quote anybody, don't imitate anybody. I will manifest in my own way. An ant is manifesting in its own way. A flower is manifesting in its own way. Look at a flower which is, and don't be impatient. Our generation is too impatient, too intolerant. Have patience in the sense things will move in their own way. You put a seed in the ground and you don't pull the seed and make it a tree. It will grow its own way.
We just got to keep putting the seed in.
And you nurture it, it will happen.
God will make it rain.
And each one of the trees, each one of the plants is unique.
Yeah.
Suppose you are a gardener. You want a rose garden. You bring 10 rose plants, put them there, same amount of water, same amount of exposure to sunlight, same amount of manure, same love and affection to each one of them. Do you mean to say every one of them will grow in the same way and give a flower in the same day? No. Why? There is an antaryami within, we believe. Every plant has its own inner strength, we call the antaryami, inner regulator, which accepts what you give, rejects what it doesn't want, and transforms itself into a beautiful flower.
I love that.
So everyone, even a plant is unique. What about students? What are the people to whom you preach?
You can't change
What you preach, what you teach them, each one take it in its own way, and the flower.
Yeah.
Don't force anything down others' throats.
Yeah.
So give them freedom to grow.
Yeah.
That was Vivekananda's duty.
That's amazing. Thank you, Swami Atmapriyananda. I think everything you have said is just nectar. It really is nectar. And at the end of the Gita, there's that beautiful shloka that Krishna gives. Iti te jnanamakyatam guyataram maya vimrishyeta dasesenaho yata ichhasi tata kuru. And I think if there was something that really exemplifies that, you've spoken about that mysterious wisdom and that knowledge of the Atman and the awareness that we have, but then also there's the freedom to do whatever you want. Go act with it.
No, the manifestation will happen in hundreds of thousands of ways.
Yeah.
A tree is manifesting one way, a mosquito is manifesting there, and then a human being is manifesting in a different way.
It's beautiful. Thank you so much.
That's why we worship nature, we bow down before a tree. Then they say, "Your idolaters, I bow down before a tree, this is my oxygen cylinder. It gives me oxygen." I say, "Thanks, they're giving me oxygen." The rivers are giving me plenty of water I can't survive without them. So I look at the sun early in the morning and then chant the Gayatri Mantra and glorify. I told my students how much of energy, heat and light the sun is giving per month. And then calculate according to the rate of the electricity board. 1 unit of electricity, how much they charge. If you do that, the entire wealth of the whole universe will not be sufficient to pay the sun for a single day. And he gives it day after day, months after month, year after month, no charges, absolutely free. And I raise my heart in prayers. Oh, sun, thank you. Is it religion? Or is it throwing your heart in
sense
prayer?
Of awe and gratitude and
obviously,
grace.
Why should I not?
Yeah, you're getting everything
even
from
a
that.
dust, the dust particle,
Yeah.
I always tell the student, don't clean everything properly. In physics we say, how rains come? Super saturated water vapor need a small nucleus around which they can form the drop. The dust provides this.
We need the dust too.
So dust has a nucleus, so the water. So that's why we say, Bhagavan's Padarenu, the dust at the God's feet. Why dust is important? See, in Hinduism, everything is divine.
Yeah, everything.
So you're so elevated, so beautiful, you have so much happiness. Isha Vasyamadam Sarvam Mitkincha Jagatyam Jagat. Isha is over the first line. Cover the whole thing with divinity.
I think this is the same verse which Gandhiji said, if this one verse is remembered, then the whole of Hindu
Aurobindo
philosophy
also
can
glorified this verse.
come back again. Could you recite that verse for us so we end this conversation with that beautiful verse?
Isha Vasyamidaggas sarva yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjita magridha kasya siddhanam. Cover, envelop the whole world with divinity. Isha Vasyamadam Sarvam, whatever is there filled with divinity.
Thank you. Swami, at the last moment you've accepted our invitation to do this, and I feel really blessed to spend time with you, and I hope
I keep on thinking about all this so spontaneously.
Whatever short time we have here in this life and the work that we do, I pray that it will be blessed by you, and we work closely together. Empty
yourself of egoness. The ego is stopping everything. Prakriti, nature will do everything. Allow her to function, that's all. Nature cries, please allow me to function through you. So, no, I will do myself.
Let's do it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
So much.